Hey, everybody. A few years ago, there used to be this thing called a purity test. Came out a few decades ago. It had up to 500 questions, and it measured on a percentage scale, basically how pure you were. And so, obviously, the higher percentage of purity, the more pure you were. And it focused on sexuality. So, talked about whether or not you were heterosexual, whether you were homosexual or bisexual. It went into BDSM. It went into sexual positioning. It went into specific sex acts that you may have participated in. It actually went into a lot of detail. Think of it as kind of a precursor to Cards Against Humanity, because basically the idea was that you played the test or you had the test with a group of friends. And at least in my experience, alcohol was involved. So probably not the most responsible thing, but it was a lot of fun. Now, today, we have this term that's been bandied about. It's called intersectionality. Now, it's primarily used to determine status in the oppression Olympics. In other words, it's a measure of power, credibility, and influence in social justice circles. So in other words, the more oppressed you are, or the more points of intersectionality you have, the more power, influence, and credibility you should have. So if you're a disabled person of color, you're going to have more credibility than an able-bodied Caucasian person, for example. Now, again, the idea is that you measure your intersectionality by your perceived oppression status. Basically, it's a social justice purity test. Now, in social justice circles, this determines electability, it determines employment status, it determines credibility on particular arguments. But it's also used to witch hunt and discriminate against heterosexual white people, white men in particular. Now, today, I present to you the intersectionality score calculator. Now, this is at intersectionalityscore.com. All right. And let's read this. This is pretty entertaining. It says, you may have heard of intersectionality, the theory that the overlap of various social identities such as race, gender, and sexuality contributes to the system of oppression and discrimination experienced by an individual. Don't know how to compare your level of oppression with others? Now you can. Simply adjust the sliders below according to your identity factors to see your intersectionality score. You can use it when you're dealing with others to know who's more marginalized instead of getting to know them as individuals. Now, obviously, this is probably a joke site, but there it is. Now, I will say this. We're going to go with a 95 or higher is an A, an 85 or higher is a B, a 78 or higher is a C, and a 68 or higher is a D. Anything below that is an F. Now, we're going to take this test, and I'm going to go ahead and take it first, just to kind of let everybody see where things are. So, and again, here we go. And we're kind of doing this in real time. This is completely unscripted. All right. So remember, everything is a social construct. So we're going to go from here. Now, but with that said, because I'm half Latino, I'm going to go ahead and go with person of color. Now, I'm also, because again, everything's a social construct, I'm also a masculine presenting transgender lesbian. So I'm gay. Now, because I'm transgender, I'm female. And again, I'm transgender. So again, I mark for that. Now, am I rich or poor? Well, I don't know. We'll just say I'm trans poor. And I'm older. And because I'm transgender, I'm disabled. English is my first language. I was born in the United States. And I am less educated. Might as well. I am Christian. I am trans-Muslim, and I am trans-Jewish. So with that said, where do I stand on the intersectionality score? Holy shit, I'm a B. My score is 86. So therefore, I fit perfectly well within the whole intersectionality community. Now, let's go ahead and try this again. Now, we're going to do it this time, and we're going to use Steve Shives as an example. Now, Steve Shives, he's white. Now, even though technically I'm told he's married, he is a mangina, so we're going to say he's gay. And because he's a mangina, we're going to actually say, even though he's male, we're going to say he's transgender. He's probably rich because he's a social justice warrior, so YouTube promotes his content. He's about middle-aged, so he's not really younger or older. He's kind of a soy boy, so you can't really say able-bodied, but he does not appear to be disabled. English is very clearly his first language. He's clearly born in the USA. He said some dumb shit, so I'm going to assume that he's less educated, and I'm going to assume that he's not Christian, he's not Muslim, and I'm going to assume he's not Jewish. He may be Jewish, I don't know. If he is, I apologize. All right, so his score, he's an F. He's an F. His intersectionality is lacking. So I think that this kind of shows you that, when it comes to Steve Shive's content, if you're a social justice warrior, you should not pay attention to him because he doesn't even score a high F on the intersectionality scale. Now, let's go ahead and do it again because, I want to go ahead and check on some of these social justice icons we have. And let's just kind of really see what the reality of their situation is because, should we really be paying attention to these people? Are they high enough on the intersectionality scale for us to really just, dig in and listen to them? Do they have the credibility that we as social justice warriors or trans social justice warriors need to really respect them? Let's find out. All right. So we're going to do Hillary Clinton. All right. So Hillary Clinton, we're going to go with, she's white. She is straight. She is female. She is cisgender. She is stupidly rich. She is older than Yoda. Now, she says she's able-bodied, but we've seen her fall down a few times. So we're going to say she's trans-able. English is very clearly her first language. She was born in the United States. She has a law degree. And because she's two-faced, she's not Christian. We know she's not Muslim, and we know she's not Jewish. So, with that said, where does Hillary sit on the intersectionality scale? She's a 27. She's completely unelectable, which, oddly enough, resembles reality, because she lost. She continues to lose, because, losers lose. So, with that said, let's go ahead and look at the other side of the scale. Let's look at Barack Obama. Okay, so he's a person of color, and according to some people, he's gay. While he is male, some people believe that he's transgender or at least a transvestite. He's definitely rich. He is getting up there, so he's getting a little bit older. We've seen him play basketball, so he's able-bodied. English is his first language. Now, some people say he wasn't born in the United States, and other people say he does. So for purpose of this, we'll just pretend he's born in the United States. He has a law degree and was a law professor. I believe he identifies as Christian, but I'm not sure. So we're going to go devout. No, he's not devout, but we're just going to leave it in the center. We don't know. But he's not Muslim, I don't think. And I don't think he's Jewish. So here we go. Barack Obama. Barack Obama fails. He's got a 50 on the intersectionality score. Again, he was doing good. And then toward that final stretch, once you actually took into the fact that he's rich, that he's male, and, able-bodied, he's got a lot of education. Basically, you shouldn't pay attention to him. He has no intersectionality credibility. F for failure. All right, let's go to the next one. Let's see, who else should we do? Let's do, what's her name? The new representative-elect Ocasio-Cortez. All right, so Ocasio-Cortez, this is the one from New York. They call her Che Guevara, so because she's a super socialist. So she's a person of color. It appears as though she's straight, but we're not sure. She is female. She is cisgender. Now, she tried to pretend she wasn't rich, but she comes from a rich family. So she's rich, even though she's was dumb and was a bartender. So she's basically a bar thought. She's younger, and she's able-bodied, and English is her first language. She was born in the United States. And now, here's the thing, with her more educated, I don't know what her education level is, but she says some pretty dumb shit. So let's go less educated. Now, obviously, she's a bar thought, so she's definitely not Christian, she's definitely not Muslim, and she's definitely not Jewish. So, Ocasio-Cortez gets a 58 on the intersectionality meter. So she's an F. So she probably shouldn't have been elected. But again, she says some stupid shit. If she's surrounded by people who say stupid shit, they're going to elect stupid over credible. Or I should say, they will probably think that stupid is credible because that's all they know. All right, let's go ahead and take one look at one last one. This is one's going to be fun. This is Nancy Pelosi. So Nancy Pelosi, she's white. She's straight. She's female. She's cisgender. I think she's the richest person in Congress. She's super old. Now, Nancy Pelosi says some stupid shit. And on top of that, here's the thing. When we're talking about able-bodied and disabled, she said some really stupid shit. She looks like she might have some dementia or something. If you've seen her live, I mean, you understand where I'm coming from. So we're going to go disabled because we want to help her out. And then English is a first language. She was born in the United States. She's got a lot of education. She supports killing children and abortion, so she can't be Christian. She's not Muslim, and I don't think she's Jewish, but I could be wrong. So with that said, Nancy Pelosi has a 33 on the intersectionality scale. So here's the thing. When you look at this, I mean, this is a lot of fun. Obviously, whoever put this together, they had a lot of fun with it. This is not created by social justice warriors. You can tell because it's a Poe. But oh my gosh, this is hilarious. It's called intersectionalityscore.com. Now, with that said, let's go ahead and let's kind of look at some of the comments here. The comments are great. So this one says, haha, this is the dumbest thing I've seen today. I watched a Nancy Pelosi interview today. Another guy says from Wichita, Texas, amazing. To score 100, you have to be a non-white, female, gay, transgender person who is poor, older, and disabled, being born not in the USA, English not being your first language, less educated, not a Christian, but a devout Muslim or Jew. I'm pretty sure, I am sure that this is pretty much all of us. Now let's go back and take a look at that. Let's just look at that for a second. Let's reset it again and let's just find out. Okay. So we have a score of 0. If you are a devout Muslim, you get 53. Now, if you are a devout Jew, let's see what it does. Devout Jew. It's 51. So being a Muslim rates you higher than being a Jew, even though there was a genocide against Jews at one point. Now, let's see where being a devout Christian sets you. All right, so that's 48. So basically, you lose points. If your baseline is 50, you lose points for being devout Christian. So basically, they discriminate against Christians. They do a little bit of discrimination against Jewish people, but not much. Now, if you're less educated, you get a 51. If you're more educated, it's 48. So basically, people who are more educated or who are smarter score lower on intersectionality than dumbasses. Well, we kind of already knew that based on what we've seen in the news so far. So with that said, if you're born in the United States, you're 46. If you're not born in the United States, you're born elsewhere, you're 53. So basically, American lives don't matter. If you're an American, go fuck yourself. You're not intersectional. That's a bad thing. Now, if English is your second language, it's a 51. So you get 1 point for that. But if it's your first language, yeah, screw you, all you Native American or native English speakers. This is what you get. All right. Now, here's the other thing. Are you disabled? Let's find out. If you're disabled, you get a 53. So that's worth 3 points. But if you're able-bodied, you're only worth 46. So basically, healthy people, yeah, screw you. Fat lives matter more than fit lives. So if you've got serious problems, you got serious medical problems, guess what? You're more valuable than that person who's completely fit, completely educated, born in the United States. Basically, anybody who can actually assimilate into American culture, yeah, you guys are losers. Anybody who doesn't know how to assimilate in American culture, who is, retarded, being disabled, or they have no education because they say stupid shit, you're more important than anybody else. Now, let's go to the next part. The older. If you're older, you get 51. If you're younger, you get 51. But if you're middle-aged, you get 50. Okay? So think about that for a moment. So old people, young people, those people are great. But anybody who's middle-aged or anybody who's not considered young and not considered old, yeah, fuck you people. Now, are you poor? Because you made poor life decisions? You get 52. Are you rich? That's 47. So basically, if you're successful in life, you're a loser. Now, are you heterosexual or are you transgender? If you're heterosexual, which is interesting, they say cisgender. In other words, if you're not trans, well, I guess, I don't know. It's kind of weird because they also have gay and straight here. So we're just going to go. If you're cisgender, you get 46. But if you're a transgender, you're 53. Now, this means that even though there's only been about between 4,000 and 5,000 people in the United States that have actually undergone the surgery, those people even though they all have mental health problems and they're suicidal and everything else, and they commit suicide at a higher rate than everybody else, and they suffer from depression and other mental health problems, they're more valuable than cisgender people. Also, are you male? Oh my God, look at that. Males get screwed. Males in intersectionality, males in social justice communities, they have no value whatsoever. So male feminists, you pay attention because this is you. I'm talking to you. But if you're female, your female's worth 7 points. So female is more important. In fact, what's interesting, this is weighted towards women far more than men. So men are losers at 42. Females are winners at 57. That's a 15-point spread. So think about that for a minute. Now, are you straight? If you're straight, that's 45. If you're gay, it's 55. That's a 10-point spread. And again, are you white? Is it okay to be white? Let's find out. If you're white, oh my God, 36 points. But if you're a person of color, that's 63 points. So 36 and 63. Oh my God, that's huge. That's huge. It's not like, it's not like intersectionality is racist at all. Now, the reason I bring this up, obviously, this test was created as a joke, but it really simulates life. It's definitely entertainment simulating the reality of everything that's on the ground. So yeah, so this is definitely very much indicative of how intersectionality treats Caucasian, straight, cisgender men who are financially successful, they're able-bodied, who speak English as a first language, born in the United States, have some education, who are devout Christians. If you are any of those things, it's a problem. So let's try that out. So let's go. If you're a white male and you are straight, and again, you're male, and because you're not transgender, you're cisgender. You're rich, so you're financially successful. Okay, maybe you're not old, maybe you're not young, but you are able-bodied. Okay, English is your first language. You're born in the United States. You decided to go hard, work hard, and get a bunch of education. You're a devout Christian because a lot of people in the United States are Christian. What's your score? It's 6. So that should tell you everything you need to know about what these people think of American values. I think even though this is kind of a joke website, I think it says everything you need to know. And again, I think this is something that's important to be illustrated so that people understand exactly what social justice warriors think of people like this, what women who are feminists think of people like this. So again, intersectionalityscore.com. This is the website. Check it out. I think that it's kind of, it's sort of a funny sort of thing. And, it's something worth looking into. Check it out. Share it with your friends. Have a lot of fun with it. And with that, I'll talk to you later. This is DDJ, and this has been your dose of misandry today.